All right, let's get started. Joseph Robinette Rogan came out with a Instagram video. Now, this Instagram video was recorded midday yesterday. This Instagram video came out after Spotify lost like a bunch in its valuation, okay? Or not, Spotify lost a bunch of market value. It's been losing a bunch of market value already, okay? But the Joe Rogan controversy definitely added to this after Neil Young decided to pull out, and then like some other people decided to pull out, but that wasn't really, like Spotify didn't lose its fucking market value because Neil Young pulled out, but more so because people are talking about how Joe Rogan is spreading a fuckload of misinformation on Spotify. A person who got $100 million from Spotify, right? Joni Mitchell too, but like no one cares about that shit. Like, let's be real. The only thing that people care about is that it made it newsworthy again. And Joe Rogan has been doing this for some time now. So Neil Young starting this conversation and numerous other people like picking it up. Then that's old info. Their stock price gone up. Of course they went up because they responded to it. And it's a major company. Just listen. Just listen. Listen to what I have to say. You're quite literally missing. You're missing the point that I'm making currently. Okay, which is that stock values in this, stock value in this situation is not all that significant, but volatility or shifts that are larger than before will cause a company to potentially respond to it, okay? It was following the market, not Neil Young. People think stock market is about Joe Rogan. No. If there is a big shift in your value that is beyond just the market crashing, then a company will respond to it. And usually it's just PR shit. And of course, it immediately corrects itself as it did. So Spotify's shares have been falling, and over the same period, tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite Index rose 1.7%. But that's it. The movement itself was in line with the rest of the market, but there was additional movement as a consequence of people talking about it, not because of Neil Young. Hate the fucking stock Andes who are like, dude, you're so stupid. You're so stupid. I'm not saying that Spotify was losing a tremendous amount of fucking money because of Neil Young pulling out or because of Joe Rogan, okay? But it's enough for them to respond to it, which they did. Can I tell a fucking story without everybody getting in and like misunderstanding and trying to fucking add their own dumbass perspective? We get it, bro. You fucking buy low and you sell high, okay? You're going to the fucking moon. You're on Wall Street bets. You're a fucking day trader, okay? You're the number one retail trader, dude. Okay, these banks have nothing on you, okay? Anyway, bro, I'm literally a tech stock, bro. I am literally Spotify, bro. My uncle is Spotify. John Spotify is my uncle. Ever heard of him? That's right, and I know better. Okay, so I don't know if there was a mass cancellation of Spotify deals. I know Melantini Fantano actually, Anthony Canceltano decided to cancel his Spotify. I don't have a Spotify. I just use my cousin's still to this day because he's in Turkey. So he's using it at a different time than I am. So I never just use it. So it doesn't really matter to me. But ultimately, Spotify responded to this and they said, we are going to put we're going to tell Joe Rogan, stop doing this. Okay. We're going to wag the finger at Joe Rogan. And remember, at the time I said Joe Rogan's not going to fucking change anything. Spotify's not going to do shit about Joe Rogan. They're going to choose Joe Rogan and not Neil Young because obviously they gave $100 million to Joe Rogan. Like, they like Joe Rogan a lot. Okay. It's a big deal for them. So why the fuck would they rip their cash cow? Doesn't matter if he's doing anti-vax shit, which he has been, and he will probably continue to do. So what did Joseph Robinette Rogan have to say to the controversy though? Because everyone's like, dude, this bullshit. I mean, it started off with doctors coming out and saying, you need to fucking cancel Joe Rogan. You need to cancel Joe Rogan. I want to start off by stating this first and foremost, and people are going to get mad at me for saying this. I don't want to cancel Joe Rogan. I don't. In the grand scheme of things, Joe Rogan's anti-vaxxer take are unfortunately now making up a large chunk of its fucking content, okay? But that's not what Joe Rogan is supposed to be about, okay? And I still enjoy Joe Rogan. So I don't want to let go of the podcast I forced all of my female guests to watch when they're here. I just want him to stop fucking crying about anti-vaxxer bullshit, okay? I've talked about this so many times over where it's like, I want Joe Rogan to stop fucking crying about anti-vaxxer COVID shit. And I want Joe Rogan to go back to the old content that he used to do, which was good, okay, and fun. But the thing I have to mention here, Joe Rogan has consistently always held on to certain beliefs that he will ride or die for. Weed was one of those beliefs. Divorce court was another one of those beliefs. Trans women competing with cis women was another one of those, okay? And obviously there's a variety of different ones that are dangerous, spicy to harmless, right? Harmless one being, fucking, I don't know, the moon landing is fake, or weed is good, because that's not even a bad thing. That's just a good take. Whatever, who cares? Weed is fine. And then relatively more harmful, but not really, is like the divorce court stuff and like what it opens up. And then you have transphobia, which is definitely bad. And now on that docket, you have added one other fucking thing. Okay. Joe Rogan's beauty and brilliance comes from him being a chameleon. Okay. And basically repeating whatever the fuck his guests are saying to him. Like he's very good at like not really saying too much, but actually having cool guests on that he just listens to, and he basically repeats. That's why he's good at podcasting. That's like what he's good at. He's a good parrot. Now, those things that I just mentioned, though, he will ride or die for. He does not change his opinion depending on who his guest is on those particular things that I mentioned. You know, divorce court being another one, like I said. And obviously he changed his moon landing take since he originally started the podcast, and the trans women in sports and all that sort of stuff, even when he has professionals on. Joe Rogan, unfortunately, however, has added the vaccine skepticism onto that. Okay, vaccine skepticism is absolutely another thing that he rides or dies for. Dude, Joe doesn't constantly whine about anti-vax BS. Clearly, you're not listening on the regular. You're just being hyperbolic. Dude, I probably watch as much Joe Rogan as you do. I probably have watched and have been a fan of Joe Rogan for longer than you have. Every single time I talk about Joe Rogan, there's motherfuckers in here who are like, dude, you don't get it. Like, you haven't seen all of his movies. Like, name 5 of his albums. It's like, I've met Joe Rogan. I've hung out with Joe Rogan in the real world. He probably doesn't even fucking remember it. I've been a fan of Joe Rogan even before. I've been a fan of Joe Rogan when you were fucking first born. And also, he's an ape. Like, he admits it. He says he's a dumbass. He's going to admit it in this video. So, like, why are you fucking standing for a dude and defending a dude from a position that he himself is not defending? Anyway, let's watch what he has to say. But basically, this is his address to Spotify.
Hello, friends. I wanted to make a video to address some of the controversy that's been going on over the past few days. And first of all, to say thank you to everyone that sent love and support. I truly, truly appreciate it. And it's been very nice to hear from you. I wanted to make this video, first of all, because I think there's a lot of people that have a distorted perception of what I do, maybe based on sound bites or based on headlines of articles that are disparaging. The podcast has been accused of spreading dangerous misinformation, specifically about 2 episodes, a little bit about some other ones, but specifically about 2. One with Dr. Peter McCullough and one with Dr. Robert Malone.
For the record, these 2 men that he is referencing here, they are absolutely, without a doubt, like, these guys are cranks, okay? They're charlatans, they're cranks. This is what they do. They traffic misinformation about vaccines. This is not like, ooh, I accidentally had some people on who said some crazy shit. No, this is what they do. Like, he had people on that go on like Alex Jones, okay? Like InfoWars grifters. These are snake oil salesmen. These are grifters. They have ridiculous fucking takes on the COVID vaccine, and platforming them while you yourself are a vaccine skeptic is really insane. Like, actually fucking insane. How is Rogan has had Alex Jones in the past? How is this different? Because these guys are abusing their background and making it seem as though they are actually authorities on the subject matter that they're covering, which Joe Rogan will literally defend. So them having credentials in this situation makes it so much worse than Alex Jones, because Alex Jones is talking about like psychic pedophile vampires or whatever the fuck. But when Alex Jones talks about like vaccines are actually turning you gay, that's one thing. But when you have someone who is like literally credentialed or had credentials in the past, use that, that is, it's a little bit different. Like, and he's going to defend them in this video as well. So you'll understand why it's different. And when Alex Jones says something about vaccines, you're like, that's Alex Jones, People who like him are going to fucking listen to him. But when you have a massive fucking audience and you're bringing on a doctor, okay, and you're saying this is a doctor, this is the most qualified doctor to talk about this shit, and then the doctor is a fucking crank who literally has like a media tour and a GoFundMe to raise like $60 million because, you know, everyone is attacking him all the fucking time. It's fucked up. Anyway, there are so many problems. It's a classic appeal to authority fallacy, right? Yes, but that doesn't matter. Just because your fucking debate brain is like, oh, well, that's an appeal to authority fallacy, that doesn't change the reality that for like the overwhelming majority of laymen, they see a motherfucker who says they're a doctor, who says they have the credentials, and they go, wow, this is a fucking doctor that's saying something very different than what mainstream media is saying. Okay, no one thinks about this from that same point of view, which is why I have to describe this stuff regularly. You should invite a real immunologist one day. We'll see what's really going to happen to his ape brain. He's not going to do it. And there's a reason why he hasn't. You think, dude, he had Michael Osterholm on in the beginning of the fucking pandemic. That dude literally is a legit epidemiologist who was giving off warning signs before mainstream media was about COVID. He has had him on. Why hasn't he had him on since? Why hasn't he had anyone on? And when he actually does have on his friends like Dr. Rhonda Patrick or even fucking what's his face, the CNN doctor guy who is, you know, not an epidemiologist, but at the very least he's fucking, you know, a person who specializes in like communicating medical knowledge to the broader public. Okay, like Sanjay Gupta, he debates them. He fucking debates them. You can't, on the one hand, say you're a fucking ape and you're an idiot and you're just a comic, and then try to debate motherfuckers who are trying to tell you like, this is what it is. This is what it is. This is what the reality is, and you're misinforming people. He literally debated them, and he will continue to debate people because it's a lie to say Joe Rogan is appearing as a chameleon here, okay? And a lot of you stands of Joseph Robinette Rogan make it seem as though he's just simply a comic and he's just asking questions, lol, when he's not just asking questions, okay? He's not. This is, if you're a fan of Joe Rogan, if you've been a fan of Joe Rogan for long enough, you know this is an issue for him, okay? He is never going to fucking stop defending this. It's just who he is. It's a part of who he is. This is the one fucking issue where he's like always going to talk about, and he's not going to ever shut the fuck up on it.
Dr. Peter McCullough is a cardiologist, and he is the most published physician in his field in history. Dr. Robert Malone owns 9 patents on the creation of mRNA vaccine technology and is at least...
Dr. Peter McCullough is the dude that got banned from his actual fucking hospital that he used to work at. He's not personally a reliable narrator of COVID information. The reason why he got banned is because he was spreading COVID misinformation, and this is what he turned into. Okay, he turned into a guy who fucking shills. And the other dude is Robert Malone. Robert Malone is the most famous one who has routinely fucking lied about the mRNA vaccine. Like, that's all he does. He has lied about his involvement with the mRNA vaccine, greatly exaggerating his mRNA vaccine development, like his work on the mRNA vaccine, making it seem as though he himself is personally responsible for the fucking creation of the mRNA vaccine when he actually had to, dude literally invented mRNA vaccines, of course. That's not true. That's not true. That is a lie. Not only is that a lie, when asked if he actually had invented the mRNA vaccines or what his involvement was, he has openly stated he can lie to Joe Rogan in a conversation and then Joe Rogan can lie on his behalf. But he personally, if a media outlet asks him like, you know, did you invent the fucking mRNA vaccine? He openly admits that he didn't. The other part of the problem is that the mRNA vaccine, the mRNA technology, is now at the clinical trial stage for HIV. Part of the reason why they did not want to open up the IP for the mRNA vaccine is because we knew this already at the time, that it had potentials for curing like AIDS or preventing AIDS from spreading. That's the reason why they didn't want to fucking spread the technology. They didn't want to open up the IP for the mRNA vaccine. HIV trials have started for the mRNA vaccine this past week. An mRNA HIV trial, the first patients vaccinated within a clinical trial of HIV's experimental vaccine that uses Moderna's mRNA technology. Yep, it's been updated this Monday as well. So there's a lot going on in that field. So it goes far beyond. It's like extra damaging for this fucking dude to lie about his own personal background and his own personal involvement. But patents ultimately don't mean shit. My brother has a patent. He got a patent when he was 19 years old for, I think it's like a thermodynamic generator. He built a fucking generator. If he was a fucking anti-vaxxer crank, it doesn't matter. I would be like, shut the fuck up. You're a crank. Having a patent doesn't mean shit. As a chatter pointed out, Theranos, Elizabeth Holmes, the person going to jail for lying to everyone about her incredible medical technology, the blood work that she was capable of doing, that was a total fucking lie. She had patents. Patents don't mean shit. They only mean shit to the layman that is listening to Joe Rogan, okay? This is exactly the method that creationists use, irrelevant patents and PhDs. And there are crank doctors. We think that when someone puts on scrubs, we have this idea that that person is automatically looking out for your best interest. And there are plenty of other doctors like this, and including all of the members of the Association of American Physicians and Surgeons, which is a politically conservative nonprofit association that promotes medical information such as HIV/AIDS denialism, abortion breast cancer hypotheses, and the vaccine autism connections, and homosexuality reducing life expectancy. Those two doctors, if I'm not mistaken, are a part of this. Just like the Frontline Doctors group that Joe Rogan has regularly had on, members of the America's Frontline COVID Frontline Doctors group, or whatever the fuck it's called, which is another conservative doctor think tank. You can find a doctor to come and defend your positions. Back in the day, cigarette companies did this. Let's continue.
Partially responsible for the creation of the technology that led to mRNA vaccines. Both these people are very highly credentialed, very intelligent, very accomplished people, and they have an opinion that's different from the mainstream narrative. I wanted to hear what their opinion is.
This is bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. This I'm an independent thinker and that's the reason why I did this. These are highly credentialed doctors. Independent thinkers and rational skeptics regularly exercise skepticism towards mainstream narratives, which they should. I don't have a problem with that, okay? Mainstream media does have a tendency to get things wrong, which I will talk about, because there are things that Joe Rogan says here that I agree with to a certain degree. But they never, ever apply that same level of skepticism to a crank doctor wearing a fucking COVID-19 tie saying you should shove a neti pot in your fucking nose. And that's the way to deal with COVID. What the fuck? Why don't skeptics ever apply that same level of critical thinking to the side that they agree with? It's so fucking annoying. And I know why. And that's because Joe Rogan believes in a certain thing. And the reason why he's having these people on is not because he wants to, platform narratives that mainstream media is too afraid to fucking platform truths that the mainstream media is too afraid to show. It's because he fucking agrees with them. That's why he has a meme folder. The signs are there. Joe Rogan is a fucking rich, out of touch old man now, okay? And even back then, even back when he first started the podcast, he was still rich and out of touch, but he at least had extra seasoning and oomph to it because it was just fun. And, he had fun guests on and he didn't exclusively fucking talk about dumb shit. My man has literally Facebook meme folders, man. He has a meme folder full of Facebook memes that he brings out when he's talking to fucking doctors and shit. Are you kidding me? That is literally just that's an old man. Okay, that's not Joe Rogan. That's not the ex Fear Factor host, UFC commentator Joe Rogan. That's your fucking dad. You sound hurt that your guy changes? No, I mean, this is a person I looked up to, and I still recognize what he did as valuable from the point of view of independent media. So, as someone who literally started off his career in independent media and saw what Joe Rogan was able to do for himself and build a major audience for himself and one that even can compete against mainstream media and other mainstream media outlets. Of course I'm going to be fucking sad about that, dude. What do you mean? Why wouldn't I? And the reality is everyone is on board. Everyone is just dude, you fucking killing it. Whatever. You keep going, keep doing you. Of course, not a single person. Tulsi Gabbard, just keep being you. This man is not under serious threat. Joe Rogan was a career comedian, college dropout turned TV radio host who now makes money by attracting viewers, listeners by intentionally saying controversial things. Why take him seriously? I don't know. Because he has 5 million views on a fucking Instagram video that he posted of him talking to a camera for 9 fucking minutes. And that he is arguably, demonstrably, incredibly fucking famous and incredibly fucking influential. So him spreading COVID misinformation is very damaging, including in the video where he's oh, I'm so sad. I'm so sorry. This is people looking at Fox News and being Fox News is not mainstream media. Fox News is not mainstream media when they're the most successful and the most popular mainstream media outlet. You know what I mean? You're stupid if you don't realize that Joe Rogan has the power almost of mainstream media at this point. For people saying he's not spreading misinformation, he is spreading misinformation here. He's beefing up the intellectual honesty of the 2 guests that he had that are actual fucking grifters, straight up grifters, to a degree that they get to go on Alex Jones's podcast and not on fucking, they can't go on Fox News even.
I had them on, and because of that, those episodes in particular, those episodes were labeled as being dangerous. They had dangerous misinformation in them. The problem I have with the term misinformation, especially today, is that many of the things that we thought of as misinformation just a short while ago are now accepted as fact. Like,
he's debate mode. Like, he's not like, oh man, you know, one, he defended his fucking guests and the integrity of his guests, and those guests are literally just cranks, straight cranks, especially Dr. Robert Malone. If you don't recognize that those guys are just fucking conservative grifters or spreading anti-vaccine misinformation when they themselves are fucking vaccinated, by the way, so they're protected, those pieces of shit. That's the worst part. I wish there was a way to fucking suck the vaccine out of your body, because I would love to just fucking go in there, suck the fucking mRNA vaccine out of their goddamn body, and just throw them out into the fucking fire pit. Go ahead, bro. Face it head on, like the fucking future that you are influencing millions of people on these gigantic platforms to fucking face. There are still people dying of Omicron. Omicron is not that bad in comparison to previous variants. And there's still motherfuckers dying of it. Why? 90% of the people that are dying, or 90 plus, depending on where you're looking at the information, they're unvaccinated. They're unvaccinated. There's no other piece of information that you need, okay? That's it. You don't need anything else. 90+% of people that are dying right now of COVID are unvaccinated. There is no other reason. There is no other reason. There's no other fucking fact that you need to look at. You can like try to fucking massage the numbers and try to massage the narrative as best as you can. You can say, oh, well, you know, who needs the vaccine anyway? I like the vaccines, but I hate the mandates. I like the vaccines, but I hate the masking. Doesn't matter. None of it fucking matters, okay? If you don't get vaccinated, you have a likelihood of dying that is significantly higher if you get COVID than people who are unvaccinated, and that's it. And that's so fucking stupid that you're not recognizing this. And anyone who advocates against that is fucked up. You're doing it again. What percentage of people die from Omicron, though? Like, that's not, you can't take that L, dude. That's idiotic. Like, that's so idiotic. That's why we have a government, okay? Thank God.
For instance, 8 months ago, if you said, if you get vaccinated, you can still catch COVID and you can still spread COVID, you would be removed from social media.
Bullshit. That's a fucking lie. There was never a 100% efficacy rate, okay? The reason why people got fucking banned off social media was because they said vaccines don't fucking work. And even then, they didn't get banned off social media. Tim Pool didn't get banned off social media, and he still lies about fucking vaccine rates. Joe Rogan doesn't get banned off social media. He lies about vaccines and he's skeptical about the vaccines regularly. That's a fucking bullshit lie. No one got fucking banned off social media for saying that vaccines are not 100% effective at stopping people from catching COVID, okay? That's bullshit. That's not a real thing. People are literally conflating an actual outright lie with something that is not a lie, okay? If you say vaccines are not 100% effective at stopping you from getting COVID, that's not a lie. That's the truth. And that was something that even I said. We covered breakthrough cases from the jump. Did I get fucking banned? No. Because there's a difference between what I was saying, which is the truth, which is that the vaccines themselves are not 100% effective at fucking stopping you from getting COVID, and vaccines are not working. That's a lie. That is just a 100% lie. This is one of the more frustrating parts about people spreading COVID misinformation, because they fucking lie and then change the narrative after the fact to fit their new purpose. Oh, dude, I never actually said, like, oh man, actually people were getting banned for saying that, you know, the COVID vaccines are not 100% effective at stopping you from getting COVID. It's like, no, vaccines have always been there to stop you from dying once you get COVID. And even then it's not 100%. But it damn near is close to 100%. You can't misunderstand what people are saying or what the mainstream media narrative is and then fucking turn around and say, oh, goalposts are shifting. No, goalposts never shifted. You just didn't understand it back then and you don't understand it now. Like mainstream media talked about breakthrough cases non-fucking stop. Why wouldn't they just hide it? If they were lying, why wouldn't they hide it? Nobody banned CNN. So this makes no sense. Like, it makes no sense. No, they did not. No, they did not. You think mainstream media did not talk about fucking breakthrough cases? Okay. Here you go. United States in the past fucking, I don't know, past 12 months. Let's take a look. First popped off during April when breakthrough cases started happening, immediately after the fucking vaccine came out. And if you want, we can also look at breakthrough cases not on CNN is bullshit. That's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. CNN. breakthrough COVID cases, okay? You're just arguing in bad faith, but I'm going to take it seriously because there might be people who are genuinely confused, okay? If you look at CNN's breakthrough fucking cases, I mean, here in July, how worried should vaccinated people be about COVID-19 breakthrough infections? Even back in July, can vaccinated people still become infected with COVID-19? Yes, they can. Here's what COVID-19 vaccines do. First and most importantly, they protect you very well against severe disease. That's key. This is a disease that has taken the lives of 600,000 Americans and millions of people around the world. That's a dumb argument, though. They were banned for saying vaccines don't work, but they don't actually do anything for you if you have COVID. Yes, that's wrong. What you're saying is demonstrably wrong. If you've had COVID and you got vaccinated after you had COVID, you quite literally beef up your natural response way higher than if you just got vaccinated or if you just got COVID. So you're wrong. And you also moved the fucking goalpost. What is this? Joe Rogan interview with Peter McCullough contains multiple false and unsubstantiated claims about COVID-19 pandemic and vaccines. Damn, this is a good ass fucking resource. Thank you. I can't tell if you're saying they're wrong for saying they don't work great. It's not like they're lying. Are you saying they shouldn't report on it? No, dude. I'm saying that Joe Rogan claiming that people got fucking banned and removed from social media for saying you could catch COVID if you're vaccinated is a outright lie. Because 8 months ago, mainstream media was covering it. That's fucking bullshit. Like, he's literally fucking lying. That's just a lie. I'm fact checking what Joe Rogan is saying. Even in fucking April. Look at that. That's crazy. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe Joe Rogan is talking about something that was reported on fucking CNN. In a lot of instances, people are unfortunately too dumb. And because they're surrounded by other dumb people in their echo chambers, they literally think, oh no, I'm right. People are getting banned for fucking saying the vaccines are not 100% effective at stopping you from getting COVID. You misunderstood that because people like Joe Rogan are lying to you. Okay? Pretty sure they accused people of fear mongering when they said the vaccines weren't 100% effective. If people were saying vaccines aren't 100% effective and saying don't get the fucking vaccine for that reason, they are fear mongering. Don't get the vaccine. They're not 100% effective at stopping you from getting COVID. Plus, on top of that, myocarditis is a real problem. Then yes, they're fear mongering. That's precisely what Joe Rogan does. He's fear mongering against the fucking vaccines. CNN has been talking about breakthrough cases for fucking months. Every media outlet has reported on breakthrough cases. They did it non-fucking stop. It's not supposed to be 100% effective. And it doesn't matter. That's not what the fucking vaccine is supposed to prevent. What the vaccine is supposed to prevent is from you dying in the hospital from COVID, as thousands are doing still to this day. The overwhelming majority, more than 90% of them, in every single instance, being unvaccinated. Anyway.
Vaccinated, you can still catch COVID and you can still spread COVID. You would be removed from social media. They would ban you from certain platforms. Now, that's
bullshit. So we established, I hope everyone understands that is just a lie, an outright lie. No one was banned. No one is fucking getting banned for simply stating exactly what is on fucking CNN, okay? That was on CNN for months. In the same time frame that Joe is claiming that people were getting banned off social media for saying, they were quite literally reporting on it. Mainstream media was quite literally reporting on it. Don't just say you're delusional. Explain why you think I'm delusional, and we can have a conversation about it, okay?
If you said, I don't think cloth masks work, you would be banned from social media.
Here's the other problem. This is actually true. Here is where I will turn around and shit on the communicators, okay? The science communicators. Now, Joe Rogan is not 100% right on this, but from the layman's point of view, he is correct. Because the layman doesn't understand the difference between like the cloth mask not being as efficient at stopping COVID or whatever, and how different that is from N95s. We've known since day one that the properly fitted N95 is the appropriate way to prevent giving people COVID, or surgical masks. I talked about this before. If you remember, during the time of COVID, my mom had to get an MRI. I went into the hospital and had a cloth mask on. And the person there was like, you have to put this surgical mask on. And I thought to myself, what the fuck? Why am I putting a mask on? I already have a mask on. That's when I first realized, and I do this, I talk about this shit, I read the news. So even I was duped into thinking that like cloth masks are still effective, okay? So listen, that is a gigantic failure on behalf of the institutions of the authorities that are supposed to be fucking communicating this adequately. And even surgical masks are ineffective in comparison to the KN95, the KF94, N95. Yes, this is true. Now, people weren't getting banned for fucking saying cloth masks are ineffective. People were getting banned for saying masks fucking kill you. Masks remove your oxidation rate, reduce your oxidation rate. Don't wear a mask. Masking is the same as the Holocaust. Joe Rogan is making it seem as though people were getting fucking banned for saying like, well, I don't know. I think the cloth mask is ineffective in preventing COVID spread from happening in comparison to a properly fitted N95 mask. Like that's not the reason why people are getting banned. We watched for months, moms, dads, Joe Rogan heads talk about how wearing a fucking mask is killing you and it's not letting you breathe and it's worse than getting COVID and all this other shit. And Joe is just reducing it to, oh, people will get banned for saying cloth masks don't work. Now, but there is truth to that. And the side of the truth to that is that the average person is not distinguishing between fucking N95 masks and cloth masks, okay? And that's not how it was communicated originally either. So there is definitely, absolutely, without a doubt, a breakdown and a failure in how proper authorities communicated the message. Now, of course, that doesn't make Joe Rogan right because he's making it harder for them to communicate a message. If you're Joe Rogan and you have millions and millions of people who listen to you, who hang on every word, you can't turn around and fucking criticize the CDC for failing to communicate the message adequately when you yourself are doing your very best to muddy the waters with misinformation. And that also doesn't justify all the other things he's talking about here. Because the reason why people thought his podcast with McCullough and his podcast with Malone and numerous other instances where he's like tried to debate lord his way out of fucking how vaccine skepticism is a reasonable position to take is not because he said, oh, cloth masks are ineffective or actually the vaccines are not 100% good at stopping you from getting COVID. Those aren't the reasons why people are criticizing him. People are criticizing him because he had Neti Pot Andy, okay, on his podcast, talking about how you should fucking put iodine neti pots in your nose and you'll fucking prevent COVID. And that when you get the vaccine, the impact of the vaccine is worse than getting COVID. Like, those are all lies. Like, you can't just fucking run around and lie like this. Anyway, let's keep going.
Now, that's openly and repeatedly stated on CNN. If you said, I think it's possible that COVID-19 came from a lab, you'd be banned from many social media platforms. Now, that's on the...
I don't even know if that's true. And also, again, State Department. People saying COVID-19 came from a lab was not like, that was not something that people got fucking banned for. Okay? And for the record, especially because that was literally State Department propaganda originally. That was what straight up, like what Joe Rogan is talking about here, and the reason why it's like so fucking annoying is that, one, Jon Stewart fucking said it. Two, it did not come from a lab. You do not know that. It is not, it's a theory, just like the zoonotic disease spread theory, okay? It's just a theory. But politicians said it. Mike Pompeo said it on a live briefing. It was immediately communicated to all the PR outlets. If you're saying that China purposely sent it to the United States of America as a bioweapon, that's a little different than like a lab leak theory that is, again, just a game theory, okay? Donald Trump said it. Ridiculous.
On the cover of Newsweek. All of those theories that at one point in time were banned were openly discussed by those...
So now that we established the three main theories that were fucking supposedly banned were not things that people got actually banned for and are not even true, what Joe Rogan is saying... Okay, let's put this into a different perspective for a second, okay? Even if all three of those things he said were 100% true, which they are not, that still does not mean that you can get away with spreading COVID misinformation regularly and spreading vaccine misinformation regularly that is stopping people from getting the fucking vaccine and causing them to die when they get COVID, when they could so easily defend themselves from this preventable fucking disease, okay? It is incredibly frustrating. Hasan has some really bad takes on this. The Intercept did a podcast on the lab leak theory using FOIA documents. There's evidence that it was an accidental lab leak. Wait, they did a podcast on the lab leak theory using FOIA documents? So what, like the American government? What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck does the American government know about it potentially being a lab leak theory when the State Department itself already fucking said that it was a lab leak? You can't FOIA the fucking Chinese government, dude. Like, what the fuck? All you can do is FOIA the State Department, which the State Department has already said it was a lab leak. So what new information are you getting out of that FOIA request? And we talked about the fucking lab leak theory before. Like, it doesn't matter if it was quite literally a lab leak or not. What matters is how we deal with it. Because the very same people that are saying it was a fucking lab leak are now saying, or were saying, it's not that big of a deal. It's not going to kill you. Like, literally, oh, it was a lab leak. It was a bioweapon. Also, I'm built differently. I'll survive it. even though everyone is dying. And also don't get vaccinated because that's also a bioweapon. Like, it doesn't make sense. If it's a fucking Chinese bioweapon, then you would want to get protected against it. And the only reason why the fucking we're talking about like, oh, China did this, China did this, China did this is because we weren't doing shit. China did this to Italy before us, and we saw that, and we didn't do shit anyway. So it doesn't even make sense on that front. Like I mentioned, all three of those things that Joe Rogan is mentioning are either conflating truths with outright lies, okay? Greatly exaggerating the impact of a certain thing, or just straight up wrong, okay? But even if they were true, it still doesn't change the reality that, like, what people are criticizing him for is not that shit, okay? What people are criticizing him for is vaccine skepticism that he is promoting. Being skeptical of mainstream narratives is fine, but then purposely fucking doing propaganda in the other way, in the other direction, is completely unacceptable. And by the way, for all of you who are yelling at me, all of you Joe Rogan stans, he's about to literally say that.
That have been accused of dangerous misinformation. I do not know if they're right. I don't know because I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm just a person who sits down and talks to people and has conversations with them.
Oh, dude, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm just a person who has conversation. That's bullshit. The Just Asking Questions, Just Curious Andy podcaster edition.
Do I get things wrong? Absolutely. I get things wrong, but I try to correct them. Whenever I get something wrong, I try to correct it because I'm interested in telling the truth.
There was a time and place when I would have said yes to this about Joe Rogan, and I think he probably does this for other shit still to this day. But this COVID is not one of them. Rhonda Patrick, he debated Rhonda Patrick. He debated Sanjay Gupta. He debated every single person that's ever fucking told him he's wrong about the anti-vax shit because that's his thing. That's his thing. He's like, no, I'm a vaccine skeptic. Okay? Straight up. And not only that, but we watched the fucking video of Jamie, Joe Rogan fucking dealing with Jamie where he was like, I don't know. I know what you're talking about, Jamie. Does anyone have the clip where he's like literally getting dunked on and he just like moves away? He like reads the article. He reads the article further and he tries to like basically run away from the actual point. You're at a certain point, you're not just a guy that is simply having conversations, okay? If you have quite literally a Facebook folder, a folder full of Facebook memes that you're using to like debate Sanjay Gupta and then flexing about how you destroyed Sanjay Gupta, then you have a, oh, is this the one? This is not the F-150 one. Okay, good.
Crazy. A friend of mine went and he's a white guy and they told him that they couldn't give it to him because of his age and his body mass because he's white, but if he was Hispanic or black, they would be able to give it to him.
So messed up.
And he went, what? He goes,
that's because our country's white supremacist. Wait, what?
He said, if I looked exactly like my body now, but I had more melanin.
That's crazy.
You'd be able to, she goes,
because of your skin tone.
Because you'd be in an at-risk group. You're not in an at-risk group because you're a white guy.
It's like a long episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah, he sees it. He sees the boop, the fucking the TV turn on.
Policy denies white people antibody treatment. Texas Health Department says. There's a video of it.
I know, and the video says the Texas Health Services.
Yeah, but they absolutely did to this guy, no. Like, people are definitely doing that.
Dude.
Maybe they're...
That doesn't mean it's a policy. It means that person is an asshole, maybe.
I'm just a guy, bro. That's not just a guy. Like, you're not just a guy anymore, okay? The buddy of mine only goes so far, okay? If you can't guy I know a policy when the policy itself is not in existence, okay? It doesn't exist. That's one of the main reasons. The other thing is, like, does anyone have the clip of Joe Rogan talking about how he's a scout? Like, how we're going off a cliff with this vaccine shit? Because he's not just having conversations, okay? You can't say you're just having conversations when you also act like you are, you know, the truth teller who is stopping everyone from going fucking crazy, okay? Here, this is not a guy just simply having conversations.
I'm like you sent me down the trail. You go, hey, I want you to go down the trail and gather up like a couple 100 million downloads a month and tell us what's up.
Yeah, thanks for what you're doing for all of us.
Tell us what
seriously.
Tell us what's happening.
You're a hell of a scout.
This is what it's like. And I'm like, hey, there's a cliff. We're running towards a cliff. Stop, everybody stop. We gotta hit the fucking brakes. And they're like, you're an anti-vaxxer. And they just fucking keep going. You don't believe in science.
Like, homie is not just a guy who's having a conversation, okay? He thinks he is fully invested in the anti-vaxxer shit, okay? And he's doing everything he fucking can. By the way, this is such a stool fucking moment.
Hashtag fuck Joe.
God, he is such a stool fucker. It sucks that, like, he's quite literally chair humping right now. Oh my God, dude. He is number one. Oh my God, what a stool fucker. Holy shit, dude. Ah!
Rogan. And I'm like, guys, I want us to make it. There's a cliff. There's a cliff.
Oh my God.
Everybody's got to slow.
This is so fucking embarrassing just to think about. Oh, yeah. He's just literally stool fucking. Okay. Young Jamie getting into trouble was the F-150 one, though. That's the different one, isn't it?
Businesses get. So they get paid. So if the businesses go under, the cartels don't make any money.
Right.
Jamie, you have COVID. Do you got the fuck?
Coof.
To breathe.
It's everything. No, everything's coof.
Can't be coughing.
I got water.
Anyway, so listen. This is irrelevant. Like him saying you got COVID. That's whatever. Like, this is not just a guy. Okay. At this point, you have to realize, like, that's not just a guy. He's not just a guy having questions. This is a guy having having conversations with a very particular point of view. That's it. And that particular point of view is spreading dangerous misinformation about the efficacy of vaccines.
I'm interested in finding out what the truth is. And I'm interested in having interesting conversations with people that have differing opinions.
Interested in finding out what the truth is here. This is the last clip I'll play from that.
For young boys in particular, there's an adverse risk associated with the vaccine.
I gotta pee while this plays.
2-4-fold increase in the instances of myocarditis.
Yes, but you know what?
Hospitalization.
You know that there's an increased risk of myocarditis among that age cohort from getting COVID as well, which exceeds the risk of myocarditis from the vaccine.
I don't think that's true. I don't think it's true. No. I don't think it's true that there's an increased risk of myocarditis from people catching COVID that are young versus increased risk of myocarditis from the vaccine.
No, there is. There's both.
Well, let's look that up because I don't think that's true. Myocarditis more common after COVID-19 infection than vaccination. But is this with children? Yeah, we're talking about young people.
Men and boys aged under 30 after this is what it says here.
With children is the issue.
Well, no, we were talking about 15-year-olds.
Well, we're talking about young children.
Male,
so, yes.
12 to 17.
12 to 17, more likely to develop myocarditis within 3 months of catching COVID at a rate of 450 cases per million infection. This compares to 67 cases of myocarditis per million at the same time following their second dose of Pfizer.
Yeah, so you're about 8 times likelier to get myocarditis from getting COVID than from getting the vaccine.
That's interesting.
Now,
that is not what I've read before, but also it's like...
This video perfectly captures the essence of what happens when someone is like, totally gone down the fucking rabbit hole, okay? Totally gone down the rabbit hole where like you watch someone with cognitive dissonance parse through actual factual information and like his immediate response is perfect. Like his immediate response should be shown in fucking schools. Like the goalpost changes, immediately trying to fucking justify why he is that way. And by the way, for the record, as someone who live stream broadcasts for like 8 hours a day, I get shit wrong too, okay? I get shit wrong all the time. And when you're wrong, it's really fucking, it just sucks to just sometimes be like, yeah, I was wrong on that, okay? Especially because like so many people are so punishing. Like they love to jump on the bandwagon and be like, you're fucking wrong, you fucking idiot, you're backtracking. And what do I always do? I immediately fucking clap people that yell that I'm backtracking when I admit that I'm wrong and move on and correct that. And it's really, really frustrating because like, it just sucks. It's sad to see a dude with so much, a dude with like, with such a vast audience, with so much influence, just routinely and repeatedly spreading incorrect information. So I get it. I sympathize with how difficult it is to just like fucking come across like you're incorrect and have to take that L. No, you have to violently defend your opinion, never change your mind. Exactly. It's so stupid. Let's continue.
But even from the VAERS reports, when they report this stuff, it's like the amount of people that report, like it's the underreporting.
Oh, the VAERS report. And then Joe actually came out and fucking said, I'm not going to watch the Jamie Ford video. I don't care about that one. And he did say like, oh, it's great to be corrected by Joshua Zepps on this, whatever. He took the L afterwards. But this, in that immediate situation, was like a perfect representation of someone who is trying to fucking, defend the hill that he's on.
I'm not interested in only talking to people that have one perspective. That's one of the reasons why I had.
So what's your problem? He admitted when he was wrong. Well, he's not admitting that he was wrong in like all of these other instances, though, and he's quite literally further spreading misinformation, justifying the guests that he's had on by like beefing up their intellectual integrity when they don't have one, when they don't have a leg to stand on, spreading further misinformation that like makes it seem like it's legitimate to be a vaccine skeptic without actually talking about the vaccine skepticism that is damaging. Okay, that's what people are criticizing him for. And then saying, I should have guests on that don't agree with me. And yet he does not do that. And the only people that he has on that don't agree with him are often people who fucking, people who are fans of his or people who love him, who come on the show. And then it's like Dr. Rhonda Patrick and he debates them. Or it's Joshua Zepps and he debates him. And even after he admitted like, oh, I took the L on this, but here is why I took this L on myocarditis rates, he still fucking linked a goddamn Substack article. You know what I mean? Yeah, he isn't admitting that he's wrong. He's admitting that he lost that debate point. Exactly.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta, who I respect very much, and I really enjoyed our conversation together. He has a different opinion than those men do. I had Dr. Michael Osterholm on at the very beginning of the pandemic. He is on President Biden's COVID-19 advisory board.
This is something I talked about many, many times over. Chat, you are Jamie in this situation. Pull that clip up of how different his take was with respect to Michael Osterholm versus what his take is now. Because I've talked about Joe Rogan being with Michael Osterholm and how correct he was to like bang the alarm drums way before anybody else on COVID-19 and how dangerous it is. Someone on the Joe Rogan subreddit literally fucking clipped it together, if you remember. So that's why I say what I say about Joe Rogan, because it's fucking bullshit. It's just, I'm sorry, it's bullshit. Let's continue.
I had Dr. Peter Hotez on, who is a vaccine expert. I'm interested in finding out what is correct and I'm also finding out how people come to these conclusions and what the fact. Now, because of this controversy, and I'm sure there's a lot of other things going on behind the scenes with these controversies, but Neil Young has removed his music from the platform of Spotify. Joni Mitchell and apparently some other people want to as well. I'm very sorry that they feel that way. I most certainly don't want that. I'm a Neil Young fan. I've always been a Neil Young fan. I'll tell you a story at the end of this about that. One of the things that Spotify wants to do that I agree with is that at the beginning of these controversial podcasts, like specifically ones about COVID, is to put a disclaimer and say that you should speak with your physician and that these people and the opinions that they express are contrary to the opinions of the consensus of experts, which I think is very important. Sure, have that on there. I'm very happy with that. Also, I think if there's anything that I've done that I could do better is have more experts with differing opinions right after I have the controversial ones. I would most certainly be open to doing that. And I would like to talk to some people that have differing opinions on those podcasts in the future. We'll see. I do all the scheduling myself, and I don't always get it right.
So this part is like great, but ultimately, I don't know what is going to happen with this. Okay, he always falls back on like, I'm not liable. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm an idiot. But like, it doesn't sound like he doesn't believe what he's saying. It sounds like he believes what he's saying in this entire fucking compilation and numerous other times that I've shown you since that compilation came out, where Joe Rogan absolutely does have a position on this, and he will quite literally fucking advocate for that position and regularly defend that position in front of people like Sanjay Gupta and then flex about it afterwards. So I don't think that that's gonna fix itself, because what needs to be fixed in this situation is Joe Rogan. People will get mad at me and say, oh dude, it's just because he has a difference in opinion, but like, no, he's just wrong. And there is nothing else I can say other than he's wrong, and he's spreading misinformation purposely. And also on top of that misinformation that he's spreading purposely is dangerous, because people watch him and then see him as the peak like physical specimen that they want to be like. They stan him, and then they don't get the vaccine. And at this stage, it doesn't even fucking matter at this stage. Like people are just not going to get it. Even if Joe Rogan turned around and said like, honestly, I was wrong. I'm really sorry. Everyone should get vaccinated. It's actually very safe. It's very effective in preventing you from going to the hospital. I don't even think that people will turn around and be like, yeah, that's right. I'm sure that because they're so far down that fucking rabbit hole now, that they'll say Joe Rogan is compromised and they'll move on to some other outlet, as people have done with Fox News and Trump. It's not just an opinion when you are going along as one of the largest outlets that spreads vaccine misinformation. You mentioned Hotez, who we had on. My Texas brother, can't help but think I had the opportunity to sit with him and his family. I might have explained he was being targeted by groups only and interested in hanging on to power here in Texas, and that they don't care about him and his family. Reaching out yet again to my brother Joe Rogan. This is a life we could have saved. It's not too late. Let's talk to the nation. I believe we literally could save thousands of lives in Texas just sitting in your place in Austin talking this through. He hasn't had Dr. Peter Hotez on since he had him on originally, but maybe he did. I don't know. I did not see this one. So you can say you're an idiot all you want. I've been watching you since you started streaming on Twitch and haven't gotten laid yet. Thoughts? This dude literally has been watching me for many, many years. And he's just like a fucking weirdo anti-vaxxer now. What do I do about this? What do you mean, who cares, dude? It doesn't work that way. It just does not work that way. That's why we have laws. That's why we have fucking seatbelt laws. That's why we have drunk driving laws. Because people are too stupid to make their own decisions sometimes. And that's precisely what the government is supposed to do. That's otherwise, why is there a government, really? Yeah, exactly. Sober drivers cause more accidents than drunk drivers. That's true. The overwhelming majority of car accident fatalities still come from sober drivers. So why do we ban drunk driving? You know? And I used to say this as a joke in the beginning to, like, you know, dunk on fucking anti-vaxxers. But now I'm kind of worried that people are going to turn around and say that you know, we should actually ban sober driving instead. Like I feel like people unironically are going to turn around and debate that drunk driving should be illegal. Let's continue.
These podcasts are very strange because they're just conversations. And oftentimes I have no idea what I'm going to talk about until I sit down and talk to people. And that's why some of my ideas are not that prepared or fleshed out, because I'm literally having them in real time. But I do my best. And they're just conversations. And I think that's also the appeal of the show. It's one of the things that makes it interesting. So I want to thank Spotify for being so supportive during this time. And I'm very sorry that this is happening to them and that they're taking so much heat from it. And so now the Neil Young story. When I first of all, I'm not mad at Neil Young.
Like, he's not sorry that he's spreading misinformation, bro. He's sorry that he got Spotify in trouble. Like, this isn't a video where he's like, yeah, you're right. I'm spreading dangerous misinformation that could have possibly caused people to fucking die. Okay. He's just like, I'm sorry that I, you know, hurt the Spotify bottom line a little bit by, you know, getting wrapped up in some controversy about fucking COVID misinformation. Like, you're not sorry at all. He doesn't care. And I don't think he does. I don't think he's going to change. I think he's going to have like one or two fucking people that he doesn't agree with and then continue to spread COVID misinformation. That's it. So at this stage, it's like, what do you do? I mean, like I said, I don't give a shit about Spotify banning him or anything like that. That's not the solution. Okay. Deplatforming does absolutely work. But in a case of someone like Joe Rogan, that is going to cause, I feel like, more problems, because it's not Alex Jones. This isn't Alex Jones. The bulk of his commentary, the bulk of Alex Jones' commentary is reactionary, dangerous, literally has led people to fucking go and like harass victims of Sandy Hook. Joe Rogan is ultimately still someone who can get away with saying, I'm just an entertainer. I'm just a comedian. I'm just a dumbass. I just wish he would stop spreading COVID misinformation, demonstrate growth, move on. Do have people that he disagrees with on the COVID thing, and have actual communicators demonstrate what the truth is, what the actual scientific consensus is on vaccines. You say that too sometimes, Hasan? I am a dumbass, and I say wrong things all the time, but I try to get everything right. I don't think I have a point of view on a particular subject that is this fucking black and white, that where I'm on the wrong side of. Like, you can say my anti-imperialist takes that go against the Western sentiment are wrong, okay? And they're dangerous or whatever the fuck, right? But you could technically say that that is just a simple disagreement or a difference in opinion. That's not the same. It's something that is as clear cut as vaccines are safe and effective. The Pfizer CEO tweeted in April that the vaccines were 100% effective in stopping the transmission of COVID-19. The tweet is still up. You can look it up. Then they go on to say, oh, it was never meant to fully protect or just lessen symptoms. What are your thoughts on these goalposts? But you won't address this aloud because it's not your narrative shaking my head. The original variant, the vaccines for the original variant were thought to be 100% effective. That they thought that you would not be able to get COVID. I don't even know if the fucking Pfizer CEO actually tweeted that, but who gives a fuck? He's the Pfizer CEO. People originally thought that it was going to be, well, not 100% effective, but super effective in stopping people from getting COVID. And then the Delta variant came out. That's when the major breakthrough started happening. And the pre-Delta, like the Alpha variant, the Wuhan variant, with respect to vaccines, was incredibly effective at stopping people from getting COVID. The original vaccines, especially if you're double vaxxed up, was 100% effective. But it doesn't, like, not 100% effective, but like very effective in not getting COVID. But that doesn't change the reality that science changes. And when new information comes out, then you go along with that. This must be what he's talking about. Excited to share the updated analysis from our phase 3 study with the BioNTech. Also showed our COVID-19 100% was 100% in preventing COVID-19 cases in South Africa. That's it? That's the reason? Are you fucking stupid? It's a trial. He's literally showing the fucking, the results of a trial, you dumbass. Back in April 1st, from the CEO of Pfizer on an 800 participant study, dude. 800 participants enrolled in South Africa with 0 cases of COVID-19 observed in a vaccinated group. Of the cases observed, the majority were confirmed to be of the B1351 lineage, the prevalent strain in South Africa. The data supports previous results from immunogenicity studies demonstrating a robust neutralizing antibody response to the B1351 variant. Wait, hold on. They were definitely bans? What is the SCMP.com? What the fuck is this? South China Morning Post? Coronavirus. Facebook reverses ban on posts claiming COVID-19 came from a Chinese lab. The decision follows Biden's call for a further probe into theories about the virus. Facebook said in February that it would remove false or debunk claims about the novel coronavirus. Facebook has reversed its policy, banning posts suggesting... Dude, I hate this. I hate this so much. It's so fucking stupid, dude. It's so incredibly fucking stupid because it literally comes back to like my Facebook posts were hurt, okay? Facebook has reversed its policy, banning, suggesting COVID-19 emerged from a laboratory amid renewed debate about the origins of the virus, which again is just a theory, just like the other one. Pfizer CEO from the same day saying they have symptomatic cases. More COVID-19 news to share. Updated top-line analysis of 927 confirmed symptomatic cases from our phase 3 study showed our vaccine is 91.3% effective, measured 7 days through up to 6 months after the second dose. There you go. The data also showed the vaccine was 100% effective against severe COVID-19, as defined by CDC Gov, and 95.3% effective against severe COVID-19 as defined by US FDA. Very reassuring news. Oh, wow. So you misunderstood what the fuck he was saying. Once again, this doesn't say it removes you from getting COVID. It stops you from getting COVID 100%. On the same day, he's saying, once again, that the vaccine stops you from going to the fucking hospital, which is the main reason for the vaccine and has been the main reason for the vaccine. Where's the guy? You move the goalpost by pulling up the tweet and addressing that that chatter has poor reading comprehension. Yeah. Anyway, this guy is not here to have an honest conversation. That's the point. Okay. He's not. And this is exactly how every anti-vaxxer is. Like, there's nothing else I can do about that. I can't stop you. I can't change your mind. You are not interested in having a honest discussion. I don't think he's spreading misinformation, though. I think Joe's point is that what's called misinformation can become information. You are literally moving the goalposts. CEOs literally have to tell the truth. Why are you saying CEO like that? Yeah, dude, CEOs always tell the truth and have always told the truth. You're right. I agree. Everyone should get the vaccine, but I get Joe's point with healthy people, too. Anyway, this is what BioNTech founder said about Omicron and vaccines. This was back in 10/12/2021. It will make scientific sense to offer booster after 3 months. The latest mutations of the coronavirus call for a new vaccination strategy. Shahin explains why countries need to administer booster shots that faster and argues that a fourth jab will also likely be necessary. Anyway, get your fucking booster shots. Why should you get the vaccine if you're not at risk of being hospitalized? Genuine question, because I get asked that a lot. Because you don't know. The idea that you're not going to get fucking hospitalized is a ridiculous one, okay? When so many people are dying. And not only that, but also because the vaccine still reduced the likelihood that you will get COVID. The vaccine still reduced the likelihood that you will spread COVID because it's the symptoms are reduced. So you are still playing a role in not only protecting yourself, but protecting others as well. It might not be 100%, but it's still there. It reduces the spread. It reduces the risk of long COVID. It reduces the fucking risk that you will give it to other people. It reduces the fucking risk that you will go to the hospital, especially when you think you're perfectly healthy. I mean, look, listen, my friends are vaxxed up. People are dying with COVID, not because of COVID. Yeah, totally. Oh, fuck. You're right, chatter. You're totally right. All of the anti-vaxxers are actually dying of car crashes for some reason, but they have COVID, and that's why we just say that they're dying of COVID. So how can you explain to me that like 90% of the people that are dying? How can you explain the excess mortality rate? One, well, you can't. And also, how can you explain that like 90% of the people that are dying with COVID or of COVID are still unvaccinated? Are people who are vaccinated making more healthy choices on top of the vaccine? Or they're just avoiding? Does the vaccine protect them from, like, I don't know, having a piano fall on them, having a vending machine fall on them, a shark attack, car crash? Are they avoiding car crashes? How are they avoiding it? If people are dying of this like imaginary thing, okay, and COVID is just a random thing that they caught on top of it, how are the vaccinated people, which make up a majority in this country, how are they not even 10% of the people that are dying with or of COVID? So what's up? Why? Make this make sense. I know he's talking about pre-existing health issues, dummy. I understand that. You unfortunately do not understand how to interpret statistics. That's the problem. If the majority of people are vaccinated, okay, but the overwhelming majority of people who are dying with or of COVID, okay, are unvaccinated, make this make sense. How? What is the other reason? If it's not, vaccines are protecting people from dying of or with COVID. Because there has to be something else. There has to be another factor. So what is it? Is it because if you're vaccinated, you are more likely to not die of a car crash? Does the vaccine protect you from car crashes? If everyone is dying actually of car crashes and people are just slapping on COVID on top of that? Is that what you think? And if that's the case, shouldn't you definitely, take the vaccine to protect yourself from the car crash deaths too?
Huge Neil Young fan. I've always been a Neil Young fan. When I was 19, I was a security guard at a place called Great Woods in Mansfield, Massachusetts. It's an outdoor concert amphitheater, and Neil Young was playing there, and that was the last day I worked there. I quit during the Neil Young concert. The job was kind of crazy because there was a lot of times it was fights broke out and stuff, and I think I probably got like $15 an hour, and I was not about to get beat up for $15 an hour.
Thank you,
so
ML Winters 18 for the 5 gifted
whenever
subs.
I worked. So in case the shit hit the fan and it got too crazy, I would just put my hoodie on and leave and cover my security outfit. So one day during a Neil Young concert, there's the amphitheater, the way it's set up is there's a covered area outside that has seats, and then there's a lawn area behind it. And the lawn area during the Neil Young concert, they got a little rowdy. It was cold out, and they started bonfires. So they had these raging fires on the lawn, and we were supposed to go and put these fires out and stop them. So we tried for a little while, but then brawl started breaking out, and it started getting crazy. And I was like, fuck this. So I put my hoodie on, I zipped it up, and I left. And I drove home, and as I was driving home, I was singing, "Keep on rocking in a free world." That was my last day on the job. I don't even think I collected my last check. So no hard feelings towards Neil Young, and definitely no hard feelings towards Joni Mitchell.
By the way, this is literally why people like Joe Rogan. This story, this anecdote, all this shit, that is, and him like coming from like a working class background, shit like that. That is the reason why people like him, because he is relatable. Okay, so using that relatability to fucking spread dangerous COVID misinformation, dangerous vaccine misinformation, it fucking sucks. He is relatable. Like this, when he talks about stuff like this, that's like, there are plenty of people who see that and hear that and go, yeah, that's great. $15 an hour in the 80s working class. By the way, that is a lot of fucking money for the 80s. I don't know how the fuck he did that.
I love her too. I love her music. Chucky's in Love is a great song. I don't know what else I can do differently other than maybe try harder to get people with differing opinions on right afterwards. I do think that that's important, and do my best to make sure that I've researched these topics, the controversial ones in particular, and have all the pertinent facts at hand before I discuss them. Again, I'm not trying to promote misinformation. I'm not trying to be controversial.
I literally can't believe you are still explaining COVID and vaccinations to chatters in here. I can't believe you haven't video gamed yourself on air yet. It's like you're on a fucking merry-go-round and it won't stop. It's been 2 years, 2 fucking years. Joe Rogan is a fucking moron. Conservative grifters are fucking morons. Deniers in your chat are fucking morons. This is making me go actually crazy. What the fuck did? Yes. It is wild to me that like this late in the game, we are still talking about shit that I was talking about in fucking 2020, in the beginning of 2020, dude. It's crazy.
I've never tried to do anything with this pod other than just talk to people and have interesting conversations. I didn't plan it. I can't believe it's as successful as it is. It was never really an idea that I had. The podcast started off as just fucking around with my friends and having fun and talking. And then...
Yeah, but it's not that anymore. Like, it's not. And he knows that. That's why they talk about, like, how many people fucking watch him and how the mainstream media is afraid of him and shit like that. Yeah, motherfucker. I'm not a part of mainstream media. I looked up to Joe Rogan for the longest fucking time because of what he was able to do for himself as an independent media person, okay? As like a pivotal figure in the podcasting space early fucking on. And I see how dangerous this shit is when you're so fucking irresponsible with your misinformation just because you don't want to fucking come across like you were wrong to your gigantic audience. There are so many people that just want, you sound like a hater. Oh, shut up, dude. You have no way of like analyzing information. You just look at it like from a team points point of view. Okay, that's it. You're just like, I like Joe Rogan. I don't like HasanAbi. He's not as entertaining. Fuck you. Like, that's it.
Popular. Other people wanted to come on, and I was like, oh, it'd be cool to talk to that person. Oh, he's interesting. Oh, she's got a cool book out. And then boom, it's become what it is today, which is like...
He didn't even admit he was wrong about any of the shit about COVID. He literally said, I'm not wrong. It's okay to be skeptical, which it is, by the way. It is okay to be skeptical. It's really fucking annoying. Okay?
Juggernaut that I barely...
You're just a massive establishment cuckold. Yeah, dude, I am. Yeah, me... Okay, me, that doesn't have $100 million deal from Spotify. Me, I'm the establishment cuckold, not the guy who fucking literally has the audience that is damn near the equivalent of fucking mainstream media outlets, okay, that is literally backed by mega corporation Spotify, okay? I'm the real mainstream media Andy. I'm the real establishment guy, dude. This is like when the fucking dumbass racists were like, dude, communism is literally mainstream, okay? If you don't want to be mainstream, then like try, being a Nazi for a second. It's like, well, one, try being a Nazi. Weird. And two, no, dummy. Obviously, the fucking criminal justice system is still white supremacist. Obviously, there have been more instances of real cancellations or the government actually fucking clamping down on communists and leftists than there ever has been on white supremacists, because the American government is technically on the side of white supremacy. People only value like what is considered to be anti-establishment or whatever, what is considered to be like subversive by how much it offends CNN. You're a fucking idiot. You just think everything is liberal media. You think like liberal media is the only type of mainstream media out there. You are the dumbass who thinks Fox News is not mainstream media when it's literally the most popular fucking news outlet. You're the dumbass who thinks the media is overwhelmingly liberal when like Sinclair Broadcasting and local news exists specifically as a way to do right-wing agitative propaganda. You act like AM radio does not have millions and millions of people listening in. Local news, lol? Yeah, again, when you're just a dumbass who doesn't realize how incredibly fucking influential local news is to the broader audience, because you yourself are a bi-coastal elitist Andy. Okay? You are a bi-coastal elitist, just like I am. So you don't know what the real fucking Americans are doing and listening to and acting like. Anyone that says AM radio and local news are not influential is a fucking psycho or just completely out of touch. Local news has zero influence? Wow, very interesting that you say that, because local news is consistently, still to this day, the most trusted source of news for the overwhelming majority of Americans. Local news is more trusted than national news, but that could change. Americans still believe local news outlets are doing many things right, and the study confirms it. 6 in 10 Americans believe news organizations are accomplishing most of the key tasks of informing communities, and local journalists are seen as more caring, trustworthy, and neutral or unbiased. Like, imagine saying being an anti-vaxxer is fucking edgy, moving the goalposts all day. Yeah, dude, I love moving goalposts into, showing you proof that I was right. People just say anything is moving a goalpost at this point, dude. Everything, anything and everything that like shows that you're wrong is just goalpost moving. Anyway, so you want to go on the Joe Rogan podcast? I would. I don't think he will ever have me on the Joe Rogan podcast. Okay. He views me and Ethan Klein and people like us as just haters, just hate him. I don't think he will ever see me as someone who like used to love Joe Rogan, the big fan, who still is entertained here and there by what he does, what kind of content he puts out. He doesn't know who you are. Yeah, dude, he totally doesn't. No, Joe Rogan avidly fucking looks at people who criticize him, okay? He's also had multiple of my peers, friends, and even my uncle on his fucking podcast. Are you that stupid that you think he does not know? Of course he knows. But that's fine. It's like, you can say copium all you want, dude. The reality is that I am currently, as it stands, whether you like to admit it or not, the largest leftist news personality on the planet in America. Leftist for American news. It's just the truth. I should have said on the planet for American news. And not only that, but like I was literally a fucking, I was literally a fan. Like I was a fan for the longest time.